Notice that we have only been initializing variables and nothing has actually happened yet. So we have said that there's going to be this price prediction, which is going to be the result of this computation graph. There is going to be a cost, which we are going to calculate thus, but we haven't actually started any calculations as of yet. So once we declare our variables, it is actually essential that we initialize our variables using the TensorFlow global variables initializer. So once we are done with that, the execution master stores these variables in memory so that when you access them, it's available to you. Okay. Now, the final thing is the TensorFlow session. Every computation that runs on TensorFlow runs under a TensorFlow session. So even if you want to add two numbers or print a string or build an image classifier or build a virtual chatbot or even work on this house price prediction problem, anything that you're doing in TensorFlow requires you to invoke a TensorFlow session, because that's how TensorFlow works. Every piece of computation that you do has to happen under a TensorFlow session. So we're going to say with TensorFlow session as session, this is how we launch our session. And every piece of code that we're going to write downstream is going to be within those session, within the TensorFlow session. Okay. So we are going to display our cost or our loss or our mean squared errors every 2 iterations so that we can monitor whether the loss is going down. We are going to go through 50 iterations, right? And then we are doing some initializations here, and for every iteration we are just optimizing it using the gradient descent optimizer. From time to time we are also plotting it. So once we are done with this, we will definitely be able to know how our gradient descent optimizer works. So for this, I'm going to fire off a terminal and kind of run the script as a whole so that you can see the complete execution. Okay, so I have here the way to run this will be, this is the script that I want to run, house price prediction with animation. So this is the script that I want to run. All I have to do is Python the script name .py. Okay, so once that is done, I will see that the initial plot that we saw, our generated data that we see here, there's a very linear relationship. So we are done seeing this. Now see how the TensorFlow optimizer is running and it's already finished. So I just put in a quick animation here so that we can visualize the training happening. Now, the part that I want to stress on is that this straight line is going to be our set of predictions. Now, if you just wait for a few seconds, you'll see that it starts off with a very high error rate. So it starts from here. And as and when the training progresses, the gradient descent optimizer works its magic. It is actually aligning ourselves with our data, giving us the perfect predictions that we require. Okay, so if I were to show this to you here, you will see that the cost is something that is interesting. It started off with a very high 0.72, and then as and when we started learning through gradient descent, see how it keeps on decreasing. It became 0.48, then 0.33, then 0.23, then 0.16, and then finally we have a cost of 0.02, which is very, very low, right? So we've done very well with our predictions, but this is only cooked up data, right? In the upcoming sessions, we'll directly get started with the neural network, since I believe I have not only conceptually introduced what are some of the TensorFlow terminologies you need to be aware of, but we've actually gone through some significant code to help us get started, to help us get comfortable with things. Okay,